Hello and welcome to my NFL Week 3 predictions. So it's Week 3. Let's just get right into it. So starting off with my dad, he went 10-6 last week, which is pretty average. Um, I think he took too many upsets. Obviously, that's why he lost 6 games. His overall record is 21-11, so he's in last place right now, but not by too much. I went 12-4 last week, which is I'm basically doing the most average. Um, Last week I also went 12-4. This week 12-4. So I've been I've been keeping it, or I might have went 11-5 last week. I could be wrong. Anyway, this was a pretty easy week to predict. I just shouldn't have trusted the Dolphins to win anything. I'm pretty dumb for that. But my overall record is 23-9. And then we have the winner, the big winner of last week, 14-2. That is a very good record. He only lost the Vikings and the Steelers were the two that he got wrong, I think. I might be wrong. But still, that's a really good record, 14-2. I think that ties the overall record ever in predictions made by anybody who's ever predicted on my channel. I think the best anybody has ever gotten is 14-2. But even with getting 14-2, he's only one game ahead of me at 24-8. So this is a pretty tight battle between first and last place. It's only 3 games, so anything can change this week. Let's get right into it. This game isn't going to change anything in the standings because everybody's going to take the Bills. If anybody takes the Dolphins, I feel bad for you. 34-17, the Bills are going to dominate. I think there's going to be a couple plays where it's like Tyreek Hill gets a long touchdown, Tua just airs it out in the third quarter, and the Dolphins get a couple points. But this is I if you're a Dolphins fan, don't watch this game. Greg 30-20, 10-point game, a little bit more generous. My dad 28-17. Um, which is funny because I predict it as the Bills have the most points, and I'm the one who's a Dolphins fan. But I just know it's going to happen. All right, here's a better game: Bengals Viking. Carson Wentz versus Jake Browning in the battle of the backup quarterbacks. I'm going to take the Bengals here. I can't trust the Vikings. I took the Vikings. No, I actually predicted the Bears in week 1, but they sucked other than the fourth quarter. And then I took the Vikings last week because I trusted them at home on prime time. Shouldn't have done that. JJ McCarthy's disappointing. Carson Wentz might just pull a Sam Darnold and walk out there and throw for 300 passing yards. Who knows? They might win the game. I mean, it is the Bengals defense after all, but I'm not going to trust the Vikings. I got the Bengals. So then we have my dad's prediction, which is the Vikings by 14. 14's a little crazy. I mean, if the Bengals didn't beat the Jaguars last week, I can understand it. Sure, Jay Browning still threw 3 interceptions, and the Vikings defense is much better than the Jaguars defense. But I'm thinking that if you can score 31 points with your backup quarterback, I think you'll score more than 10. I think you'll be fine. Greg also takes the Vikings only by 3, though. I'm the lone dog in this, which is nice. I need to catch up anyway, so that's fine. Uh, Texans, Jaguars. I'm going to take the Jaguars only by 1. Um, I can see it really realistically going either way. And if the Texans start 0-3, they're pretty much cooked, so they kind of have to win this game. But the Jaguars are at home. I'm going to trust them to get it done. Their defense looked pretty good last week, apart from a couple plays. And the Texans' defense looked all right. But I'm actually going to trust the Jaguars here. My dad takes the Texans by 3. It's fair. And then Greg also takes the Texans by 3. So this week I have a lot of you'll see I have a lot of lone dog predictions. Colts, Titans. I'm going to take the Colts by 7. Not really too surprising. I think it will be a close game because the Titans are at home and they did look pretty good against the Rams. I wouldn't even be surprised if the Titans win this game, but the Colts are just on a roll right now. You can't not take them, right? Whoops, we skipped my dad's prediction. And unfortunately, I can't. Okay, sorry about that. My dad has the Colts by 3. Greg has the Colts by 9. Then we have Raiders, Commanders. I'll take the Commanders by 10. I liked the Raiders' defense. I did not like their offense. Washington has already proven they're pretty good at stopping the run. I mean, Josh Jacobs still had a touchdown, so obviously not that good, but against the Giants, and I know the Giants don't have anybody, but I trust the Commanders to hold Ashton Genty. And I think Geno Smith will do better, but I trust the Commanders. Then my dad also has the Commanders by 7, and Greg has the Commanders by 9. So then we have Eagles Rams, which is a really good game. The Eagles are at home, but I'm going to trust the Rams. And with my predictions, especially tough ones like this, I always like to look at past matchups. And I think the most recent matchup was the divisional game against the Rams and the Eagles. The Eagles were at home, but the Rams should have won that game, and they played really good against the Eagles. So looking back at that, you already know that the Rams are going to play the Eagles pretty well. And the Eagles don't look nearly as good as they did in that divisional game either. So, judging off that, I believe the Rams should win this game. My dad is going to take the Eagles here, which isn't a bad pick. The Eagles are at home. They're probably the smart option. And then Greg is also with me on taking the Rams. Then we have Falcons, Panthers. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Bijan's going to run for a lot of yards, but other than that, the Falcons' offense is going to be pretty dry. The Panthers' defense sucks, so they should throw for a lot of yards and get a lot of touchdowns, but I just think it's going to be pretty low-scoring, especially because the Panthers kind of figured something out in that fourth quarter against the Cardinals, so I think it will be close. My dad is also predicting a low-scoring game, but also Falcons. Greg predicting more of a high-scoring game, but also Falcons. Steelers, Patriots. I'll take the Patriots by 3. I like the Patriots at home. This is another one of those tough games. Could realistically go either way, and I think the Steelers are favored in this game, which they probably should be. But after that stupid muffed kickoff return, I can't trust the Steelers. And Aaron Rodgers didn't look very good in that game either. I'm not saying the Patriots defense is spectacular. They probably should have lost to the Dolphins last week. But still, the Patriots weren't at home last week. And home field advantage is big. So that's another reason why I'll pick the Patriots. My dad is going with the Steelers by 4. Not surprising. Greg is also taking the Steelers by 3. Makes a lot of sense. The Steelers are favored in this game. And then Packers, Browns. Nobody's surprised here. Packers are going to win it. If the Browns win this, everyone would be surprised. So I'm going to take the Packers there. My dad will also take the Packers, and Greg will also take the Packers. So then we have the Buccaneers and the Jets. I'll take the Buccaneers 28-15. I think it's going to be a pretty weird game. I think the Buccaneers are going to be beating them pretty handily the whole game. But then the Jets are going to get a couple weird things are going to happen to them. They're going to get a couple garbage time touchdowns. My dad is also going to take the Buccaneers, only by 7 though. With I don't think Justin Fields is going to play, so that's generous. Greg will also take the Buccaneers. Then we have Broncos Chargers. I will take the Chargers by 7. Can't really trust the Broncos after. The Broncos are weird though. Week 1, their offense sucked and their defense looked really good. Week 2, their defense sucked and their offense looked really good, apart from the fourth quarter. So, judging off that, if we're doing it that way, then the Broncos defense should be good here. But I don't know. I don't really trust the Broncos anymore. I do trust the Chargers though. So does my dad. Only by 1 though. That's being pretty generous. Greg will also take the Chargers by 7. Saints Seahawks 27-19. I think it's going to be a closer game than most people expect. The Saints impressed me last week against the 49ers, even though the 49ers were super injury ridden, so maybe it shouldn't surprise me. Still, though, I think it's going to be close. And the Saints are wearing their all white color rush thing, so that can also play a part in it as well. Still think the Seahawks are going to win, though. My dad's also taking the Seahawks by 7. Greg will take the Seahawks by 14. Cowboys, Bears. Obviously, I haven't learned my lesson. The weird thing about the Bears is every week somebody has picked the Bears, and they've been alone on picking the Bears. Week 1, I was the only one to pick the Bears against the Vikings, and I lost. Week 2, my dad was the only one to take the Bears against the Lions, and he lost. This week, I am the only one to take the Bears against the Cowboys. So, as history would have it, I will lose this game. But I feel like it's not a terrible pick. I mean, the Cowboys do usually do better when they're away, but the Bears at Soldier Field's a tough place to play just because of the grass and everything and the rain. I'm not saying it's going to be raining, but just the weather and everything. And the Cowboys aren't the greatest team in the world. I would not be surprised if the Bears win this game. So I'll take them by 3. Greg will take the Cowboys by 7, and my dad will take the Cowboys by 7. Like I said. Oh, and the weird thing about that too, I didn't even realize this till now. I didn't even do it on purpose, but for the first 2 weeks, I predicted the Bears to win 20-17 against the Vikings. Then my dad predicted the Bears to win 20-17 against the Lions. And now I'm predicting the Bears to win 20-17 against the Cowboys. So this is definitely a weird thing that has happened. Oh yeah, Cardinals 49ers, another really weird game. Another game that I'm the lone pick on. So this week, this will either work out really good or really bad for me because, as you can see, I've basically picked the other team. Greg and my dad have picked the same teams, and I've gone the other direction, picked the other team. But if it works out for me, I might cook this week. I'm going to take the 49ers by 3. I don't know who's favored in this game. I mean, the Cardinals should be favored. The 49ers are super injured. But the 49ers are at home, and the Cardinals aren't that good. Like, they look good in the first quarter against the Panthers, but then the Panthers almost came back and won that game. If the Panthers can almost come back and win that game, then so can the Niners. Greg is going to take the Cardinals, and my dad's going to take the Cardinals by 3. I think it will be a 3-point game, but as history would have it, we usually beat the Cardinals at home. Oh, here we go. Here's my upset of the week. The Giants beating the Chiefs. This is another gut feeling of mine, and I should have done it last week with the Colts. I knew the Colts were going to win that game. I was like, I know it's going to happen, but I just took the safe bet. No more. I'm not taking the safe bets anymore, as you can tell already. But yeah, I'm not doing it anymore. My gut tells me the Giants. I think the Giants are going to win it by 3. Greg will take the Chiefs by 3, and my dad will take the Chiefs by 3. So as you can tell, everybody's expecting it to be a pretty close game anyway. Lions Ravens, a very good Monday night game. I'll take the Lions by 3 here. The Ravens are at home, so I expect to lose this, but I'm kind of just putting all my chips on black right now. I'm just gambling with all these picks, um, because I saw that Greg and my dad took the Ravens, so I'm just doing the opposite and taking the Lions. Because if you think about it, for value pick, the Lions could 100% win this game. Like, they just put up 50 against the Bears. Do I think that will happen? Safe bet is taking the Ravens. But for value, yeah, definitely, I'll take the Lions here. My dad, like I said, is going to take the Ravens, and Greg will also take the Ravens. So those are my week 3 predictions. It should be a really good week this week. Week 2 was too predictable, really. Like, there was one upset maybe out of all the games. So, but week 3, this is going to be a crazy week.